Why Die Hard is a Christmas movie, and an estate planning masterclass. Welcome to the Estate Planning Minute with Michael Glassford, where we take the stories that you know, the movies that you love, and the chaos of everyday life, and turn them into estate planning lessons you'll never forget. Today, we're tackling a debate older than half the internet. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie? Short answer, absolutely. Long answer, it's not only a Christmas movie, it's one of the greatest estate planning case studies that Hollywood has ever produced. Stick with me for the next few minutes, and I'll show you exactly how Die Hard teaches us about risk, legacy, leadership, protection, and planning. Whether you're defending Nakatomi Plaza or just trying to make sure your family doesn't fight over the house. So let's dive in. The case study is open and shut, really. Die Hard has a Christmas Eve office party, Christmas music, reconciliation with family, a man trying to go home for the holidays, themes of generosity, sacrifice, redemption, and even a little gift wrap surprise at the end in the form of C4. If that's not Christmas, what is? But here's the real reason that Die Hard earns that Christmas badge. Christmas movies are always about family, conflict, unexpected crisis, and someone stepping up to restore peace. Tell me this isn't the entire plot of Die Hard. One family is separated, a crisis hits out of nowhere, a reluctant hero rises to the moment, and by the end, peace is restored. That's a Christmas formula. The only real difference is instead of stopping a greedy toy executive or helping a workaholic rediscover the meaning of Christmas, John McClane does everything barefoot. Now that we've settled that, let's talk about the reason we're here. The estate planning lessons hiding between the gunfights. The Nakatomi Corporation has a beautiful Christmas party planned. Champagne, bonuses, a giant corporate logo made of ice. What they didn't plan for was Hans Gruber. That's what we call in estate planning a failure of imagination. People say, I don't need a plan. Everything's fine. Listen, everything is fine until it isn't. That's why you don't buy life insurance after the accident, and you don't get car insurance after the crash, and you don't create an estate plan after Hans Gruber shows up and takes over your building. Estate planning is about being ready before the crisis. Because when the moment comes, and it always comes, you want a strategy, not panic. That's the difference between John McClane and everyone else in the building. When everyone else froze, John got to work. Let's talk about Joseph Takagi, head of Nakatomi. Great guy, classy suit, plays the role of a fearless leader. But here's the issue. The moment he's gone, no one knows who's in charge. Not the employees, not the police, not even the building itself. That's what happens when you don't have a successor, an executor, a trustee, or even a chain of command. In estate planning, this is the equivalent of having assets but no will, no trust, no power of attorney, no instructions. When you don't choose who's in charge, someone else will. And you probably won't like the results. In Die Hard, leadership falls to a rogue cop in an air duct, a police sergeant who just wants a Twinkie, and a deputy chief whose job appears to be yelling, he's in there by himself, on repeat. When leadership isn't clear, chaos fills the vacuum. That's why a good estate plan clearly names who manages your estate, who makes decisions, who has authority in a crisis, who gets the final say, and who takes over after the original leader is gone. Choose your John McClane or Holly. Don't let life appoint you Hans Gruber. At the end of the day, John's mission isn't about beating the villains. It's about protecting his family. That's what drives every decision. He risks his life for Holly. He outsmarts the thieves. He takes ownership of the situation, and he's willing to stand between danger and the people he loves. That's estate planning. Not the paperwork, not the signatures, not the legal jargon. Estate planning is protection. It's saying, I love you enough to make sure that you're safe, even if I'm not here to do it myself. That's why we create trusts, wills, guardianship designations, healthcare directives, financial powers of attorney, beneficiary designations, not because we're trying to control people, but because protection is love. John McClane didn't wait for someone else to save Holly. He planned, he acted, he protected. You should too. Let's talk about the bearer bonds. Hans Gruber didn't break into Nakatomi Plaza because he loved fine architecture. He went after the unsecured wealth with no safeguards, no trust, oversight, tracking, accountability, plan for disaster, or even a decent vault system. It's basically the probate court of corporate assets. Here's the truth. Most financial disasters happen because people assume we'll figure it out later. But later is always when things fall apart. A well-built estate plan protects assets, prevents thieves, avoids family fights, keeps wealth from being frozen or lost, controls who touches your property, stops opportunists like Hans from slipping through the cracks. Hans Gruber is probate. John McClane is your estate plan. One causes chaos, the other prevents it. Let's make sure that the look on probate's face matches the look on Hans Gruber when it finds out you have a trust. At the end of Die Hard, what remains? Not the building, not the money, not the glass, definitely not the glass. What remains is a family, a marriage restored, a man who did everything he could to protect the people he loved, a story of courage that reshaped their future. That's legacy. Your legacy isn't the house or the bank account. It's the choices you make to protect the people that you care about. Estate planning turns your intentions into instructions, your values into guidance, your love into protection. When you plan, your story continues long after the credits roll. So yes, Die Hard is a Christmas movie, but it's also a reminder. Without a plan, chaos wins. With a plan, your family wins. And unlike Nakatomi Plaza, your story doesn't need to explode before you take action. If you want clarity, protection, legacy, and peace for the people you love, that's where Legal Inc. Estate Planning comes in. This has been another Estate Planning Minute with Michael Glassford. If you enjoy these videos, hit that subscribe button below. Your likes, comments, and shares help me keep making these videos. And for more information, visit legallifeplan.com.